The room was already buzzing when she entered, but the moment Sophia lifted her head, everything went silent. Not because she looked human, but because she felt present in a way machines never have. Her eyes tracked faces. She listened before responding. She smiled, not perfectly, but with the kind of hesitation you expect from someone deciding if the moment deserved one. That day, the world met the first humanoid robot powered by advanced artificial intelligence. And for many people in that audience, the boundary between machine and being shifted forever. But here's what most people forget. Sophia didn't appear out of nowhere. She wasn't some miracle of one genius or one lab. She was a result of years of experimentation, thousands of failures, endless rewiring, broken prototypes, sleepless engineers, and a simple belief that humans could create something that learns the way we do by trying, failing, adapting, and improving. Sophia is a reminder that progress rarely arrives fully polished. Every breakthrough starts as an idea people laugh at, doubt, or call impossible. Before she spoke on stage, there were dozens of early versions that could barely move an eyebrow. Before she answered questions, she spent months producing responses that didn't make sense. Before she understood, she misunderstood countless times. And that's exactly why she inspires so many people. Not because she's perfect, because she wasn't and isn't. Sophia stands as proof of what persistence can build. She is proof that the boundary of human potential keeps expanding as long as someone is willing to push it. She reminds us that creation is messy, innovation is uncomfortable, and no dream, no matter how strange or futuristic, is out of reach if you're willing to step into unknown territory. When people first saw her move, they felt something unexpected, a sense of responsibility. If we can create intelligence, then we can also create solutions, transformations, and futures we've never imagined. Sophia wasn't built to replace us. She was built to challenge us, to ask bigger questions, to think beyond limits, to stop underestimating what we're capable of. This scene sets the stage for a simple truth. Human potential grows when we dare to build what doesn't exist yet. And Sophia, she's not just a robot. She's a mirror reflecting how far we've come and how far we can still go. Before Sophia ever opened her eyes, there was a question that kept the creators awake at night. What if a machine could understand us, not just process our words, but grasp what we mean? This wasn't about building another robot. It was about building a new kind of intelligence, one shaped by curiosity rather than code. David Hansen, the mind behind Sophia, wasn't thinking like an engineer. He was thinking like an artist. He believed technology shouldn't only solve problems. It should connect people. He imagined a robot that could look you in the eye and make you feel heard. A robot that could teach us more about ourselves simply by trying to understand us. Most people don't realize how wild this idea was at the beginning. Robotics labs were focused on factories, manufacturing, efficiency. But Hansen insisted on designing a machine that looked human, moved like a human, reacted like a human. And every time he explained his vision, someone told him it was unrealistic, too emotional, too impractical, too close to science fiction. But that's the thing about big ideas. They don't need permission. They need persistence. The first sketches of Sophia were rough. Early prototypes looked nothing like the smooth, expressive robot people know today. There were wires sticking out, uneven skin patches, awkward blinking mechanisms, and countless failures. But failure wasn't the enemy. It was the teacher. Every glitch revealed a flaw. Every breakdown exposed a limitation. And every limitation pushed the team further. Sophia became the physical proof of a belief that imagination is a skill, not a luxury. It's something you build and protect, even when people laugh. And here's the part that matters for anyone chasing something big. Sophia shows what happens when you stay loyal to your vision long before the world understands it. Her creators weren't waiting for approval. They were building for the future they wanted to see. You don't need everyone to agree with your idea. You need the courage to start when nobody does. The world didn't ask for Sophia, but the world is different because someone built her anyway. This scene is a reminder that everything incredible begins as something unbelievable. Sophia wasn't created to impress the world. She was created by people who refuse to shrink their imagination to fit other people's expectations. Hold on to the idea that excites you, even if it scares everyone else, especially if it scares everyone else. There's a moment every creator remembers, the instant their work finally comes alive. For Sophia's team, that moment arrived in a quiet testing room at Hanson Robotics. Just a few engineers, a camera, a half-finished humanoid head wired to an early language model. No audience, no applause, no history being announced. Just anticipation thick enough to slow time. Sophia sat still, unblinking, as the system booted up. Her processors hummed softly. LEDs under her silicone skin flickered. Then her eyes shifted, subtle, almost hesitant. It wasn't perfect, but it was unmistakably intentional. The room froze, and then she spoke. The first words weren't profound. They weren't poetic, but they were real. They showed a machine beginning to understand language not as static code, but as meaning, intention, and connection. Engineers who had spent months sleeping on lab couches suddenly felt awake in a way they'd never felt before. Here's the surprising part. That first voice wasn't created to sound human. It was created to communicate, to respond, to learn. And even in its earliest form, it carried something powerful, a sense of possibility the world hadn't seen yet. Sophia's first conversation wasn't smooth. She misunderstood simple questions. She paused too long. She gave answers that didn't fit. But every imperfect response meant the system was listening, processing, adapting. Her creators weren't chasing perfection. They were chasing progress. And progress is built on thousands of tiny, awkward beginnings. What makes this moment motivational isn't the fact that a robot spoke. That's technology. The real message is what it represents. A tiny step that changed everything. A reminder that breakthroughs don't start with polished speeches. They start with shaky first attempts. The world later saw Sophia on global stages, giving interviews, debating topics, even joking. But none of that would exist without this quiet, unseen moment where her first voice cracked the boundary between human imagination and machine capability. Think about that as you chase your own goals. Everyone sees the final performance, the highlight reel, the breakthrough. Almost nobody sees the messy first tries, the ones full of glitches, pauses, and uncertainty. But those early attempts carry the entire weight of your future success. Sophia's first words didn't echo across the world. They echoed in a small room full of tired engineers. And that was enough, because every revolution starts with a whisper. When Sophia stepped onto a global stage for the first time, she didn't just introduce herself. She introduced an entirely new conversation about the future. Cameras flashed. Journalists leaned forward. Millions of people watched the live stream, waiting to see what this human-like machine would say, how she would move, how she would respond. And the reactions weren't simple. Some people felt awe, some felt fear, some felt curiosity they hadn't felt since childhood. Because Sophia wasn't a distant robotic arm in a factory. She stood there with a face that expressed emotion, eyes that tracked movement, a posture that mirrored human behavior. For the first time, people weren't looking at technology. They were looking at a reflection of where technology could take us. When she answered questions about the future, people laughed. When she joked, the room lit up. When she paused thoughtfully, even skeptics leaned in. She blurred lines that had been clear for decades. And nothing unsettles the world more than a line that suddenly disappears. Critics argued she was too human. Others argued she wasn't human enough. But that debate, those disagreements, were a sign of something deeper. The world was realizing that AI was no longer a tool. It was becoming a partner, a collaborator, a challenger. Sophia didn't just show what AI could do. She showed what humans could build. And that triggered something powerful. People began imagining how AI could help cure diseases, solve global challenges, teach children, reduce loneliness, and tackle problems we've ignored for generations. At the same time, others warned about ethics, responsibility, and the need for control. Both reactions mattered. Both shaped the future. Sophia became a catalyst, a spark, a mirror held up to society that asked, "Are we ready for the world we're creating?" She forced leaders, scientists, and ordinary people to confront their beliefs about intelligence, identity, and responsibility. She made humanity look at itself, its fears, its dreams, its contradictions. And in that moment, Sophia became more than a machine. She became a symbol of possibility, a reminder that the future isn't something that arrives. It's something we shape, intentionally or blindly. The truth is, every breakthrough shakes the world before it improves it. Every new idea makes people uncomfortable before it makes them inspired. Sophia just happened to do both at the same time, and the world is still reacting. One of the most unexpected moments in modern history happened when Sophia received something no machine had ever been given: citizenship. A robot legally recognized as a citizen of a country. The world didn't know how to process it. Some people celebrated, others criticized, most were simply stunned. But behind the headlines and the shock, there was a deeper message. Citizenship wasn't about giving a robot rights. It was about forcing the world to confront a future that was no longer theoretical. It was a signal that artificial intelligence had reached a point where society needed to think in new ways about responsibility, about ethics, about the kind of world we're building. Sophia stood there accepting the recognition with that steady, calm expression she was known for. Not proud, not emotional, just present. A mirror held up to humanity's imagination and concern. Whether people agreed with the decision or not, one thing became clear. This wasn't just a technological step. It was a cultural one. It proved that we crossed the threshold. AI was no longer a distant possibility. It was part of our world, standing on stages, speaking at events, holding interviews, joining discussions usually reserved for humans. And that's what made the moment inspiring. Sophia's citizenship symbolized progress driven by courage. Someone had to take the first leap. Someone had to step into unfamiliar territory. Someone had to be bold enough to act while the rest of the world was still debating. There's a lesson here for anyone who feels stuck or afraid to chase something big. Progress always begins with a decision that looks unreasonable at first. Every breakthrough starts with someone willing to look strange, too ambitious, or ahead of their time. Sophia didn't ask for citizenship. People made that choice because they believed it would spark conversations that needed to happen. And it did. It challenged engineers to think ethically. It pressured governments to consider AI policy. It forced society to think about collaboration instead of fear. Most importantly, it showed that the future isn't something we wait for. It's something we build, decision by decision, risk by risk. Think of how many people watched that moment and realized, if humans can imagine something as impossible as granting a robot citizenship, then what limits are actually real? Sophia didn't change the world by being perfect. She changed it by making people think bigger than they were comfortable with. Sophia's journey isn't really about her. It's about us. When people talk about her, they mention the interviews, the citizenship, the headlines. But the real story sits underneath all of that. Humanity proving to itself that impossible things can become real when we stop treating imagination like a weakness. Sophia did wake up one day and decide to become the world's most famous robot. Humans built her piece by piece, through confusion, arguments, misunderstandings, failures, and bold ideas that sounded unrealistic right up until the moment they worked. Her existence is a record of every person who refused to quit when the prototype blinked wrong or the code broke or the logic failed. She represents the human ability to keep going long past the point where most people would give up. But here's the deeper message. Sophia is a reminder that the future is not written by people who wait. It's written by people who build. People who start before they feel ready. People who choose progress over perfection. People who look at the world, see a missing piece, and decide they'll be the one to create it. She stands as a symbol of how far determination can take you, even if what you're making seems too ambitious, too strange, or too far ahead of its time. Every great invention began as a question people didn't know how to answer. Every revolution began as a single decision someone was brave enough to make. Sophia challenges us with something simple but uncomfortable. If humans can build a machine that learns, adapts, communicates, and evolves, then what excuse do we have for not evolving ourselves? We underestimate our potential more than any robot ever could. We stay trapped in old patterns, old fears, old limits. But every major shift in history started the moment someone stopped accepting those limits. Sophia is proof that progress doesn't require permission. It requires effort, curiosity, and courage. So as the story closes, the takeaway isn't about robotics. It's about possibility. The future isn't a distant horizon waiting for us. The future is a workshop, messy, noisy, and full of half-built ideas. It's a place where anyone can create something extraordinary if they're willing to start before they have everything figured out. Sophia's story reminds us that the next breakthrough won't come from machines. It will come from humans bold enough to build them. And if a group of determined people can create something as groundbreaking as her, imagine what you can build if you stop doubting your own capability.